Hello everyone, this is Dr. Vikas Kumar. So, on behalf of Chetan Bharat Learning, once again, I welcome everybody to this session. Well, in this series of lectures on English, we've discussed quite a lot of reading comprehension passages. We've discussed the basics of RC passages. We've discussed how to read and approach a reading comprehension passage. So, continuing in the same stream, we are going to discuss another passage today. In fact, more than just a passage. Great, let's begin. So if you realize that the government of China, governing an empire of about 60 million people during the Tang dynasty, implemented a complex, a convoluted, a twisted and knotty financial system that recognized grain, coins, and textiles. Just a sec. Let me change the color. Yeah. Textiles is money. इसको money की तरह ही वो recognize किया करते थे. Coins did have certain advantages. वो durable थे. बार बार use किए जा सकते थे. Recognizable थे. And provided a convenient medium of exchange. Especially for smaller transactions. However, कुछ disadvantages भी थी. A continuing shortage of copper का मतलब क्या था? That government mints जो वो produce करते थे, जहां पर coins produce होते थे, could not produce enough coins for the entire empire. देखिए, अगर coins हमारे यहाँ से भी currency notes खत्म हो जाएंगे and we rely only on coins, फिर तो जहां जो mint जिसमें coin बनते हैं, उस पर तो बहुत pressure आ जाएगा, है ना? It will be very difficult for the mints. To the extent that for most of the dynasty's history, ये जो Tang dynasty है, coins constituted only a tenth of the money supply. One of the main objections to calls for taxes to be paid in coin was that peasant producers who could weave cloth or grain भी वो grow कर सकते थे. The other two major currencies of the Tang would not be able to produce coins and therefore would not be able to pay their taxes. तो अगर taxes coins में ही pay करने हैं तो ये दो लोग, ये peasants लोग, right? ये लोग कैसे अपने taxes pay करते हैं? As coins had advantages and disadvantages, so did textiles. उनके भी advantages और disadvantages थे. If in circulation for a long period of time, they could show signs of wear and tear. Wear and tear होता है textile में. Stained, दाग लग जाना, faded, color खराब हो जाना, और फीका लगने लगना. And torn bolts of textiles had less value. ऐसा textile की value naturally कम थी than a brand new bolt. Further, a full bolt had a particular value. अगर कंज्यूमर्स कट कर देते टेक्सटाइल्स को इनटू स्मॉलर पीसेस टू बाय और सेल समथिंग, आप कपड़ा है उसको आप काट देंगे तो उसकी वैल्यू क्या बचेगी? वर्थ लेस देन अ फुल बोल्ट, देन टू ग्रेटली लेसन द वैल्यू ऑफ द टेक्सटाइल्स. छोटी बाटर सिस्टम भी तो चलता था ना पहले. कपड़ा बड़ा है तो फिर बड़ी चीज मैं आपसे ले लूंगा, मैं आपको कपड़ा कम दे रहा हूं तो फिर उसके बदले में छोटी चीज मिलेगी मुझे. तो अगर मुझे छोटी चीजें खरीदनी है तो मैं फुल बोल्ट का कुछ एक कपड़े का टुकड़ा काट कर आपको दूंगा. Excuse me. So, unlike coins, textiles could not be used for small transactions. Noted, textiles could be exchanged by the foot and the inch. So, लेकिन इनके कुछ advantages थे over coins. For a start, textile production was widespread. बहुत ज्यादा spread थी. And there were fewer problems with the supply of textiles. कोई खास problems थी नहीं supply को लेकर. For large transactions, बड़ी transactions के लिए, textiles weighed less than their equivalent in coins. Since a string of coins could weigh as much as 4 kg. So अगर weight देखा जाए तो weight भी अपने साथ बड़े सारे complications और intricacies लेकर आया. Furthermore, the dimensions of a bolt of silk held remarkably steady from the 3rd to the 10th century. 56 centimeter wide and 12 meter long. Values of different textiles were also more stable अब कॉइन्स की वैल्यू फ्लक्चुएट करती रही और टेक्सटाइल की वैल्यू स्टेबल रही। अब जो गवर्नमेंट थी ना, इट ऑल्सो रिक्वायर्ड द यूज ऑफ टेक्सटाइल्स फॉर लार्ज ट्रांजेक्शंस। Coins, on the other hand, were better suited for smaller transactions and possibly given the costs of transporting coins for a more local usage. छोटे transactions के लिए coin use हो रहा था. Grain, because it rotted easily, खराब हो जा रहा था, सड़ रहा था जल्दी, नहीं यूज किया गया nearly as much as coins and textiles. But taxpayers were required to pay grain. Taxpayers को ये मतलब उनको तो it was a requirement for them to pay grain to the government as a share of their tax obligations. Tax तो देना ही था, तो जो taxpayer है वो grain भी दे रहा है. And official salaries were expressed in weights of grain. उसी से official salaries बनती थी. In actuality, हमारा जो currency system आज का है, it has some similarities. Even as it is changing in front of our eyes, उसमें भी कुछ similarities थी, हालांकि वो चेंज हो रहा है. We have cash coins for small transactions. हमारे ये करेंसी में coins हैं जो कि छोटी transactions के लिए यूज होते हैं, like paying for parking at a meter, बैंक नोट्स या और भी चीजें. बस में कोई टिकट लेना है वहां भी. डेबिट क्रेडिट कार्ड्स फॉर अदर, ये अब आप बस में तो नहीं दे सकते ना डेबिट कार्ड, या एक छोटी सी कोई ट्रांजैक्शन है उसके लिए 2 रुपए के लिए आप यू विल नॉट ऑफर द एटीएम कार्ड. ऑफन लार्जर टाइप्स ऑफ पेमेंट्स उनके लिए यूज होते हैं. एट द सेम टाइम हम लोग शिफ्ट हो रहे हैं टू इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बैंकिंग एंड मेकिंग पेमेंट्स ऑनलाइन. कुछ यंग लोग नेवर यूज कैश एंड डू नॉट नो हाउ टू राइट अ चेक. एब्सोल्युटली, कुछ यंग लोग जो कैश यूज नहीं करते हैं, ऑनलाइन ही सारा पेमेंट होता है उनका, उनको मालूम ही नहीं चेक लिखते कैसे. चलिए, इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द passage, which one of the following can be inferred with regard to the use of currency? Currency usage was similar to that of modern times. ये बिल्कुल करेक्ट है, ये हम इन्फर कर पा रहे हैं. हमारे आज के टाइम्स की बात की है उन्होंने. Currency that deteriorated easily was not used for official work. ऐसा नहीं है, राइट? ये तो कहीं नहीं लिखा. Copper coins were more valuable, not at all. Nowhere has this been mentioned. Grains were the most used currency because of government requirements. Not at all. Therefore, option A makes the best choice. Right. So let's move to the next question. Well, according to the passage, the modern currency system shares all of the following features with that of the time, except that. All right. Which one? It issues different materials as currency. This was mentioned. So, except जो नहीं है, right? Its currencies fluctuate in value. वो भी होता ही. It uses different currencies for different situations. ये भी है. Is undergoing transformation. This is the correct answer. Yeah. According to the passage, the system shares all the following except this has nowhere been mentioned. Next one. When discussing textiles as currency in the Tang period, the author uses the words steady and stable to indicate all of the following except reliable supply, steady, reliable. Steady जो है उस पर आप rely कर सकते हैं. Reliable again correct. Reliable quality, correct. Reliable transportation. He says steady and stable. तो जो steady और stable है वो transport कैसे हो रहा है? Therefore, this is the best choice. Next one. During the Tang period, which one of the following would not be an economically sound decision for a small purchase in the local market? Cutting 1/8 of the fabric. Yes, क्योंकि फिर वो कपड़े का जो ये बोल्ट जो है इसका वैल्यू बहुत गिर जाएगी और वो आप बड़ी पेमेंट के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं अदरवाइज. दिस इज द करेक्ट आंसर. बाकी ये सब सही है. वेट ऑफ ग्रेन से भी आप यूज कर सकते हैं. कॉइन्स भी छोटी ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए यूज होते थे और फेडेड बोल्ट का एक हिस्सा भी. नेक्स्ट वन. Vocabulary used in speech or writing organizes itself in 7 parts of speech. 8 if you count interjections such as oh and gosh. Well, communication composed of these parts of speech must be organized naturally by rules of grammar upon which we all agree. जब ये rules break down, confusion और मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हो जाती है, मैसेज क्लियरली कन्वे होता नहीं है। बैड ग्रामर प्रोड्यूसेस बैड सेंटेंसेस, बहुत सही चीज है। खराब ग्रामर, खराब सेंटेंसेस, खराब मीनिंग देंगे। चलिए, so my favorite example from Strunk and White is this one. As a mother of 5 with another one on the way, my ironing board is always up. आप ये सेंटेंस के साथ प्रॉब्लम समझ सकते हैं क्या है? As a mother of 5 with another one on the way, my ironing board. So जैसे कि ये ironing board है 5 की माँ। चलिए, nouns and verbs are two indispensable parts of writing, जिनसे writing को अलग नहीं कर सकते। Without one of each, no group of words can be a sentence. Absolutely, a sentence has to have a noun and a verb. Since a sentence is, by definition, see, a group of words. Subject भी होता है, predicate भी होता है. These string of words begin with a capital letter. Correct. End with a period and combine to make a complete thought, which starts in the writer's head और reader के head में जाकर वो end होता है. So, must you write complete sentences each time? Every time? क्या ये possible है? देखते हैं. Perish the thought, छोड़ दीजिए thought को. अगर आपका जो काम है, if your work consists only of fragments and floating clauses, grammar police are not going to come and take you away. अगर ये नहीं भी हुआ complete sentences, तो भी कोई grammar police नहीं लेके जाएगी आपको, मतलब कोई इल्जाम नहीं लग जाएगा. Even William Strunk, that Mussolini of rhetoric, recognized the delicious pliability of language. Pliability मतलब flexibility. आप mold कर सकते हैं, change कर सकते हैं. It is an old observation, he writes, कि जो best writers हैं, sometimes they disregard the rules of rhetoric. Absolutely correct. Yet he goes on to add this thought, which I urge you to consider. Unless he is certain of doing well, writer will probably do best to follow the rules. Now the telling clause here is, jab tak he is certain of doing well. If you don't have a rudimentary grip, elements per grip nahi hai aapki, of how the parts of speech translate into coherent sentences, how can you be certain that you are doing well jab aapko grip hi nahi hai? The answer, of course, is that you can't, you won't. One who does grip the rudiments of grammar, जिसको grammar की अच्छी पकड़ है जिस पर, finds a comforting simplicity at its heart. उसके लिए वो simplicity, simple रहती है writing, where there need be only nouns, the words that name, and verbs, the words that act. Nouns and verbs largely. Take any noun, put it with any verb, and you have a sentence. जैसे he goes, or Ram goes, Amit goes. It never fails. Rocks explode, Jane transmits, mountains float. ये perfect sentences हैं, noun और verb से बने हुए. Many such thoughts make little rational sense, but even the stranger ones, plums defiled, have a kind of poetic weight. That's nice. इसी की तो बात की थी कि हमेशा complete sentences ना भी हों तो भी चलता है. The simplicity of noun-verb construction is useful at the very least. It can provide a safety net जब आप लिखोगे उसके लिए. Strunk and White caution, excuse me, against too many simple sentences in a row, but simple sentences provide the path you can follow when you fear getting lost in the tangles of rhetoric. Excuse me. All those restrictive and non-restrictive clauses, those modifying phrases, positives and compound complex sentences. Actually, it has to be a balance. It has to be a web. When you write something, when you write, an article or anything for that matter, you have to have the right balance of simple sentences, right? Dismissive of words, rather noun or verbs ho, or plain English likha ho. And you also need to have a decent mix of intricate sentences or idioms or, sentences which are not in plain English. So there has to be a web in order to make a piece of writing very, very interesting, but everything has to comply with the rules of grammar. Fine. So if you start to freak out at the sight of such unmapped territory, right? Just remind yourself that rocks explode, Jane transmits, mountains float, and all this. Grammar is the pole you grab to get your thoughts up on their feet and walking. Great. The first one. Which one of the following quotes best captures the main concern, the central idea of the passage? Nouns and verbs are two indispensable parts of writing. Without one each, no group of words can be a sentence. No. He has challenged it. Some parts पर या some situations में ये शायद use ना भी हो, इनके बिना भी sentences लिखे जाएं. Strunk and White caution against too many simple sentences. Again, this is not the central idea. There is a passing reference to it. There you go. खराब ग्रामर एंड में भी उन्होंने देखिए ग्रामर के लिए ही कहा है. ये देखिए कि चाहे आप कैजुअल राइटिंग भी करें बीच बीच में, बट ग्रामर सही होना चाहिए. Which one of the following statements, if false, अगर गलत है, could be seen as supporting the arguments in the passage? Okay, गलत होने पर. And understanding of grammar helps a writer decide. So understanding of grammar help करता है एक writer को to decide if he is writing well or not. तो अगर ये गलत है तो support कैसे करेगा? अगर ये गलत मान लिया जाए तो it is not going to support, right? Perish the thought that complete sentences necessarily need nouns and verbs. This is the correct one. अगर ये गलत भी है, right, तो भी central idea को support करेगा, right? Fine. Both ways it is supporting, क्योंकि ये एक contradictory statement था. चलिए, all of the following statements can be inferred. ये एक नहीं मान सकते हम, बाकी सब मानेंगे. Subject predicate relation is the same as noun verb. दोनों ही तो उन्होंने इसी context में लिखा है. The primary purpose of grammar is to ensure that sentences remain simple. No, not simple. Rather, that the sentences remain correct. तो ये नहीं, यही आंसर है. ये हम नहीं कर सकते. Sentences do not always have to be complete. ये कहा है, so ये भी आंसर नहीं हुआ. ये तो can infer है ना, except चाहिए हमें. Grammar police is a metaphor. True. Grammar police is a metaphor. So ये भी आंसर नहीं हुआ. Mentioned है. Take any noun, put it with any verb, and you have a sentence. It never fails. Like this, like this. A couple of examples. Then he says, except none of the following statements can be seen as similar. Except कोई भी similar नहीं है एक को छोड़ के. एक similar वाला हमें ढूंढना है. A collection of people with the same sports equipment. Take an apple tree, plant in a field. No. None of the statements can be seen similar. ये similar नहीं है, ये भी नहीं है. एक similar ढूंढना है हमें. A group of nouns arranged in a row. No. Take any vegetable, put some spices in it, and you have a dish. ये देखिए. Take any noun, put it with any verb, and we have a sentence. Next one. Inferring from the passage, the author could be most supportive of which one of the following practices? A creative writing course that focuses on how to avoid the use of rhetoric? Probably not. The critique, creative writing तो novels लिखना, stories लिखना, वो हुआ ना, उसकी तो बात ही नहीं हुई है. Writing in general की बात हुई है. The critique of standardized rules of punctuation, he is not criticizing the rules. A campaign demanding that a writer's creative license should allow the breaking of no, this runs contrary to the main idea. इसको तो सपोर्ट किया है उन्होंने, ग्रामर को सपोर्ट किया ना, नॉट ब्रेकिंग ऑफ रूल्स. द अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ लैंग्वेज सॉफ्टवेयर दैट स्टैंडर्डाइज द रूल्स ऑफ ग्रामर. ही इज ट्राइंग टू मेक इट इजियर फॉर द राइटर्स. चलिए नेक्स्ट वन. द क्लेम्स एडवांस्ड हियर मे बी कंडेंस्ड इनटू टू assertions. First, culture is what images, acts of seeing and attendant intellectual, emotional and perceptual sensibilities do to build rather, maintain or transform the worlds in which people live. And second, that the study of visual culture is the analysis and interpretation of images and the ways of seeing that configure the agents, practices, conceptualities and institutions. So the passage seems to be about visual culture. हम क्या देख के किस तरह से images build करते हैं, perceptions build करते हैं अपने ज़हनों में. So accordingly, the study of visual culture should be characterized by several concerns. पहला, scholars of visual culture need to examine what? Any and all imagery, high and low, art and non-art. They must not restrict themselves to objects of a particular beauty or aesthetic value. They must not limit. In fact, indeed, any kind of imagery may be found to offer up evidence of visual construction of reality. Imagery होती क्या है? Let's say मैं character की बात करूं. There was a friend of mine जो बहुत tall था. He was very well built. 7 feet तो उसकी height ही थी. बड़ी मस्कुलर स्ट्रेंथ थी उसमें, और वो ऐसा था कि किसी को भी पकड़ के उठा के पटक देता होता था. ये इमेजरी है. मैंने एक कैरेक्टर की इमेज बनाई है यूजिंग सर्टेन टेक्नोलॉजी, सर्टेन वर्ड्स रादर, नॉट टेक्नोलॉजी, सर्टेन वर्ड्स, राइट? दैट इज कॉल्ड इमेजरी. Second, the study of visual culture must scrutinize visual practice as much as images themselves, asking what images do when they are put to use. Images क्या करती हैं जब उनको यूज में लाया जाता है? कहते हैं ना कि ह्यूमन ब्रेन responds more to pictures or images than to words. So if scholars engaged in this enterprise inquire what makes an image beautiful, एक image को क्या चीज beautiful बनाती है, or why this image or that constitutes a masterpiece or a work of a genius, they should do so with the purpose of investigating एक आर्टिस्ट का या फिर उसके वर्क का contribution to the experience of beauty, taste, value or genius. इमेज, आर्टिस्ट दोनों का क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन है और इमेज को किस चीज ने ब्यूटीफुल बनाया है. सो शायद जो इमेज ऑथर ने बना दी है या किसी राइटर ने बना दी है, इट शुड बी सीन विद इन द फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ द एम. तो अगर मेरा एम है, लेट्स से मेरा एम है आपको एक कॉमेडी कुछ प्रेजेंट करना, मैंने एक कॉमिक सा प्ले लिख दिया है या फिर नॉवेल लिख दिया है, लेकिन आपको उसमें हंसी नहीं आ रही, तो उन इमेजेस का क्या फायदा जो मैं इमेजरी बना भी रहा हूं, राइट, यूज भी कर रहा हूं. नो अमाउंट ऑफ सोशल एनालिसिस कैन अकाउंट फुली फॉर द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ मिशेलेंजेलो और लियोनार्डो. वो यूनिक क्रिएटर्स थे ऑफ इमेजेस. फोटोज में भी, पिक्चर्स में भी यूनिक क्रिएटर्स थे दैट चेंज द वे देयर कंटेम्परेरीज थॉट. आर्ट में उन्होंने काफी कुछ चेंज किया. हिस्ट्री ऑफ आर्ट, आर्टिस्ट्स, म्यूजियम्स, फीलिंग एंड एस्थेटिक वैल्यू में बहुत चेंजेस वो ले आए. लेकिन स्टडी ऑफ द क्रिटिकल, आर्टिस्टिक एंड पॉपुलर रिसेप्शन ऑफ वर्क्स बाय सच आर्टिस्ट्स एज Michelangelo and Leonardo can shed important light on the meaning of these artists and their works for many different people. And जो history है of meaning making, meaning कैसे बनता है, meaning culturally आता है, has a great deal to do with how scholars as well as lay audiences today understand these artists and their achievements. So किसी भी artist की images को, उसका जो meaning है, वो ऑडियंस अपनी नॉलेज के हिसाब से, अपने कल्चर के हिसाब से विद इन द गिवन फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ देयर कल्चर ही मीनिंग निकाल पाएगी. थर्ड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, स्कॉलर्स स्टडिंग विजुअल कल्चर माइट प्रॉपरली फोकस देयर इंटरप्रेटिव वर्क ऑन लाइफ वर्ड्स बाय एग्जामिनिंग पिक्चर्स, प्रैक्टिसेस, विजुअल टेक्नोलॉजीज, टेस्ट एंड आर्टिस्टिक स्टाइल, जिसकी हमने अभी बात की है. नाउ द टास्क क्या है? It is to understand how artifacts, art se related, contribute to the construction of a world. Important methodological implications follow. Ethnography and reception studies become productive forms of gathering information, since these move beyond the image as a closed and fixed meaning event. Fourth, scholars जो है ना, they may learn a great deal जब वो स्क्रूटनाइज करते हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स ऑफ विजन को, दैट इज द स्ट्रक्चर्स ऑफ परसेप्शन एज अ फिजियोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस एज वेल एज द एपिस्टेमोलॉजिकल फ्रेमवर्क्स. सो विजन इज अ सोशली एंड बायोलॉजिकली कंस्ट्रक्टेड ऑपरेशन. इसको विजन कहते हैं. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द डिजाइन ऑफ द ह्यूमन बॉडी एंड हाउ इट एंगेजेस द इंटरप्रेटिव डिवाइसेस डेवलप्ड बाय अ कल्चर. देखिए मीनिंग डिराइव होता है बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स के बाद. Seeing operates on the foundation of convenience. Convenient कहते हैं unwritten statement, unwritten agreement को, with images that establish the conditions for meaningful visual experience. Finally, the scholar of visual culture seeks to regard images as evidence for explanation. All right, the first one. Which one of the following best describes the word epiphenomena in the last sentence of the passage? Right, so what does the word epiphenomena generally mean? It means something that is a byproduct. So means something that includes supplements. So supplemental to the evidence. Phenomena, supplemental. All of the following statements may be considered valid inferences apart from one. We need to find it out. Artifacts are meaningful precisely because they help to construct the meanings. This is stated. So cannot be the answer. Studying visual culture requires institutional structures without which the structures of perception cannot be analyzed. Wrong. So this is the answer. We need to find the wrong one. Exactly the opposite to this has been said. Understanding the structures of perception is an important part. Yes, so not the answer. Right and not the answer. Next one. All right. So no amount of social analysis can account fully for the existence of Michelangelo or Leonardo. In light of the passage, which one of the following interpretations of this sentence is the most accurate? Social analytical accounts of people like this cannot explain their genius. Absolutely correct. Their social analytical accounts cannot explain how good they were as artists. We do not even need to look at the others. Okay. Sorry. Seeing operates on the foundation of convenience with images that establish the conditions for meaningful visual experience. Which one of the following statements best conveys the meaning of this sentence? Sight becomes a meaningful visual experience because of convenience of meaningfulness that we establish with the images we see. यही तो हम बात कर रहे हैं कि मीनिंग्स जो है वो एक कल्चर में ड्रॉ किए जाते हैं. वर्ड्स में मीनिंग्स नहीं है या पिक्चर्स में नहीं है, वो कल्चरली मीनिंग्स आते हैं. Which set of keywords below most closely captures the arguments of the passage? ठीक है. Visual culture ये तो है. Aesthetic value ये भी है. Lay audience, visual experience आधा रह गया. It does not include the word imagery जो इतनी important है from the point of view of the passage. Imagery यहाँ भी नहीं है, यहाँ है. चलिए, imagery, visual practices, life worlds, structures of perception. Absolutely correct. D में extra है जो जरूरत नहीं है. Thank you. I hope you've been able to understand all the questions and answers, and keep writing to us if you have problems. And all the very best. The exam is approaching now, right? So I hope you've done enough hard work. You've worked hard. You have understood most of the concepts. You've practiced a lot of questions. Now what you need to do is just revise. And when there are a couple of days left to the exam, couple of days or 3 days, have a break. Take a break, take rest, and then go to the exam on the scheduled date with a very, very fresh mind. Fine. So lots of blessings to all of you. Lots of good wishes on behalf of Chetan Bharat Learning. And if you have any doubt, anything that you want to discuss, any problem, you can write to us. We shall respond. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye. Take care.